This is Jasmine, and this is Thomas. Hi, my name is Kristen, and on this channel, we talk about long-distance relationships. And on today's video, we are going to call Jasmine and Thomas. They are going to walk us through their journey in closing the distance. And they are ready to give you some awesome tips on how they did it. So if you are in a long-distance relationship and you're planning to close the distance, stick around and let's go give them a call.
Hello?
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 Hi, it's Kristen Cares calling.
Hey, Kristen, what's up?
Hi, Christine.
Hi guys. Hello, welcome to the show.
Ooh, thanks for having us. We're so hype.
Oh, me too. I'm so happy you guys are here. So we're gonna start by asking our very first question. Can you guys give the audience a brief background about yourself, age, your name, which country you were from, and then country that you were in during the LDR, and some fun facts about you? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Thomas, 26 years old from Finland.
And I'm Jasmine. Do I have to really say my age? I'm older than him. And
okay.
I'm from Virginia in the United States. So we like playing video games with each other. Our favorite video games are Pokemon and Xenoblade Chronicles. And he plays pool competitively.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
I won 10 euros yesterday.
That's how we save money.
Yeah. You gotta get frugal.
Yep. And I have a long distance relationship blog and website, and that's like what I do in my spare time is
Wow, yes, definitely tell us more about that later. So, how did you guys meet exactly? Tell us what it was like during your Pokemon interaction or game interaction and what went down.
We were in this like online Pokemon community together, and we knew each other for a year before we started dating.
So our Pokemon interaction is like it was in a Skype group, and then that Skype group moved to a Discord. Like we were in a league gaming group, so like you would draft your own Pokemon for your team and then battle each other on Showdown, which is like a
simulator for
yeah. So and we just talked in the league, and one day we just started talking more. It was during my clinicals for physical therapy school, and yeah, we just started talking more, and then he asked me out.
So did you guys begin with battling each other, or were you both like on the same team and that's how you met?
It was more like, I'm not sure if we ever like really played against each other, but maybe we did, but like it was mostly you were asking my help.
Yeah. So like in this, like it's like a tournament setup online, and you battle everyone that like joined this gaming community. And he was really good. He always had like these off the wall sets and like just stuff that wasn't standard at all. And so I always asked him to help me like come up with cool sets so I could battle people, and they'd be like, "Oh, I bet Steve helped you," and I'm like, "Yeah, he did."
He was the key.
Yeah.
So can you say that it was his skill in Pokemon that kind of attracted you to him, or that was like later on?
It was a combination of his skill and the fact that he would always send me Instagram pictures of Finland, and I found like this YouTuber at the time that was in Finland, and I just really liked all of her videos, and we would just talk about Finland. So it was his skill level and like his willing to share his like experience in Finland and his life here. It was really cool, and I would share
his openness and warmth, basically.
Basically.
All right, guys. So how long have you guys been in your LDR?
What is it now?
Well, we closed.
It's almost 4 years actually.
Well, we've been dating for 4 years, but our long distance relationship ended in October. So now we are living together in Finland.
Right. So 4 years of being apart, and then at the end of the 4 years, you guys have decided to close the distance.
Yeah, it was 3.5 years at the time, and
well, you round up.
Yeah,
sounds nice.
You round it up. It's just 4.
Yeah.
No, but wow. So
Great.
like, dang, 4 years and then close the distance. So that we're actually gonna dive into closing the distance because I know that there are a lot of people who are viewing the channel actually are really interested in those kinds of questions and what made you guys decide to close the distance.
So we started talking about closing the distance, I think the last time I came out to Finland in 2019. No,
It was,
2018.
yeah, it was like the
Winter of 2000.
December
Yeah.
18 and January.
And it was just talking about like those relationship milestones that other couples have. And for me, it was low key comparing myself to like my friends in high school and college and everything like that, and how they're in that next step of their life. And it's just like, well, what's the next step for us in a long distance relationship? For us, that meant getting engaged and talking about closing the distance.
Right. So would you say that you had like specific signs? Because I had a certain guest and she said that it wasn't really a sign, but it was more of like a choice that they decided as a couple to get married and to close the distance. Was it the same for you guys or was it different?
I mean, I think that like before that time when you came here to visit, you were kind of like, we were kind of talking about getting engaged already, but I felt like at that point I wasn't like ready to do that because I had like a lot of friends who hadn't met her yet, and I kind of wanted that to happen first. But then it was like after the meetup, I felt a lot more ready to move forward with the relationship.
So I think like it was a choice for us at first, but then afterwards we got signs that like we're ready. So like my sign that he was ready was when he came out to the US for 2 months. And I got to see him and like how we would live together because I was working during those times that he would come out to the US. So during that time, like we were able to see like our team work together, like how we do household chores, how we handle conflict within our house, how we like learn together and grow together as a couple. How do we go on dates when we're together? You know, so through all those signs, I was able to see like, yes, this is the person that I want to continue moving forward and taking these next steps with to close the distance.
Wow, yeah, those are very insightful because you wouldn't think that closing the distance would be a lot of struggle, but actually those things that you pointed out, like living together, being able to figure out your conflicts to each other, or like just living habits, those things, not a lot of people talk about those things, but saying that kind of allows us to have more inside view on what you should look at when you're looking for a partner that you eventually want to get married with or eventually want to move in with, because those are very important things. Usually you just hear like butterflies, the sweetness or the meetups, but like you don't see the behind the scenes, which is actually the hard stuff, the stuff where you have to choose to love each other. So thank you so much for those tips because whoever's listening out there, you gotta know, you gotta see and live with them. So would you suggest that they meet each other first and kind of, see how each other are in person? And because some people do like online and then they just meet up and that's it. But then some people say that, okay, you should probably meet up once in a while. What do you think?
I think that at least for us, it's been very big that we met up so many times, and also like after having had all those meetups, I felt the closing the distance kind of came more naturally. Like we were at the point in the relationship that it just was the time to move in together.
Yeah, I am all for people meeting each other for a couple of times first, especially having those longer meetups, like where you're not like just on vacation or like holiday mode, like, ooh, we get to do all these fun things.
Yeah.
No, like, people really need to meet up for an extended period of time and see again those things that I talked about last. It was, you got to be able to see, how do I do living with this person? I mean, one girl was telling me that she thought she was going to be with this person until they stayed together for a long time and she heard the way he ate. Like, you don't think those things would bother you, but like those are actual like legit traits that you have that can affect the way you look at a potential partner. So, but
Wow, that's very, very, very interesting. Because even the way you eat, like those minute, like little things, they actually affect you as a person. Like you don't even know. I guess you learn more about yourself too. Like, oh, I didn't know that I don't like that, or I didn't know that I don't like this.
yeah.
But yeah, that's really, really good. Really, really good key things to remember. Like even the little things, you gotta know yourself before you're
Yeah.
ready to, be with somebody, right? So how did you guys decide who is best to move where? Were you guys kind of deliberating, should I move to US or should I move to Finland? Or like what helped you guys decide and what made it easier for you guys to kind of nail it in the head that I'm moving here or I'm moving here?
Well, we've planned for both. Like we've talked about Thomas moving out to the US and
both versions had their pros and cons. From the beginning, it was like you who wanted more to move to another country.
Yeah, I've always like as a kid saw myself living in a different country, but at the same time, like I didn't want to have that be the only option. Like I knew that was my thing, but I also kind of wanted to see like would he be willing to come to the US for me? Like I wanted to see like that could be a choice because I was moving up in my career and I could have done like a different route if I wanted to stay with that. But the longer I stayed in the field, I was just like, this isn't for me. And I think like we should go to Finland. And too, like when it came to like looking at jobs and stuff and like the areas he like specializes in his education right now, it didn't make sense for him to come here. And like I said before, like I've always had this idea of starting my own business. So that also helped me in my decision to move out here.
Right. So you guys would say that if they are, or if the people watching are wanting to close the distance, they should look at one, the financial side, two, if both of you are okay or agree with where you should go, and I guess no, that's two. And then three, and then three, like looking at the bigger perspective, like in the future, like what you guys should do or what you plan on doing. But I guess it works because for you, you wanted to move somewhere else when you were young, so it was pretty easy to decide. What about can you guys suggest something for those who are kind of in the iffy gray area, like no one knows who should move where, and they're kind of in this conflict, like they don't know who should go where.
I think like for us, our deciding factor was how close Tomas was to his family. So if like to give someone advice, it would be look at who has like the one thing that they cannot give up, who they feel like that if they gave this up, they would lose like a part of who they are. For him, it was his family because we talked about how often we would need to go out there to see his family. And then like looking at our lifestyles in the US, like how would that account for that? Whereas for me, my family and I, like, we're cool with Zoom video calls and, yo, what's up? I'll talk to you later. So for us, it was that family factor that was deciding. But if both people have, like, strong family connections, and it's really talking about, well, what would be easier to do financially. Again, it for us, finances were, like, our main deciding factor in a lot of things. And where could finances be easier? Like, where would we get more money for how we save?
Basically, the hard things to talk about when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what makes long distance relationships really special because since you are apart and you've been working at it for such a long period of time, it gives you that space, that safe space to talk about those mature things because sometimes it's hard to talk about those things when you're dating someone in person for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you learn that over time in a long distance relationship. You learn how to talk about those uncomfortable things. Because if you don't, then it's basically like you're keeping something from your partner. And that doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Wow, that's really deep. Oh my gosh, my heart. Okay, so on the lighter note, we're gonna move on to another question. So this is gonna go a little bit on the problem phase, but we're also gonna go on the solution phase. So what were some of the major problems you guys encountered closing the distance, and what were the good things that you guys encountered closing the distance. So just basically run us through your experience in the closing the distance, and then I guess you can pinpoint some of the highlights that were bad and good throughout the way. So I guess we can start by the actual move, like preparing to go to Finland and those kinds
Ooh, man, closing the distance was a beast of its own. Like no one could prepare us mentally for that. And like I feel like I did so much research too before, like looking at expat life, looking at like how regular couples moved in with each other. Like I researched the hell out of this. And like it's so much because you're getting rid of so much of yourself. So like it's letting go of a lot of things. And then you're also dealing with your own anxiety because you have people coming at you, like questioning, like you get so many haters when you close the distance, honestly. Like you get haters like in unsuspected places. Like your friends are like, are you sure like you're gonna do this? Or you always have a place here if things don't work out. Like they say these things to be comforting, but it's actually just very, like,
yeah.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, we've planned this for like a year. When I told people how much money I saved, and that's when they're like, oh, well, I feel better about you going there. But like those were the hardest parts. And then like, coordinating his stuff that he needed to get rid of too while planning a wedding and figuring out what COVID immigration policies were going to do to us and the flights. It was just very, very stressful. But like, I think you can agree, like the moment at the airport, that was when.
Yeah. It was, to me, the most stressful thing was definitely like just waiting for her to get to the airport and through the gates, because at that point it was like certain that at least they will take her to the plane and bring to the country, because due to the COVID stuff, it was like not 100% certain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and but like now, since like, we've been together and settled, and it's nice. Like, the first month was kind of like a visit, like, oh, let's celebrate, we're together, let's cuddle and love and be happy. And it was hard because I wanted to establish like a routine for us, because I need a routine. I need structure in my life. And once we got past the idea, like we can't set up this routine right away, we have to just enjoy the moment, live in the moment, and then we can set up like how we want our lives to look after this point. And it's been fun living our little lives together.
That like kind of, I think, covers all the hardships that you guys went through. It's really worth it once you guys are there. Because even meeting in the airport, just knowing that, oh my gosh, this is the person I'm gonna get married to, this is the person I'm gonna live with forever. How did that feel when you guys were both in the airport, kind of like coming to each other, like, yeah?
Well, it wasn't as romantic as that, that's for sure.
What happened?
Well, I had 4 suitcases total.
Huge suitcases.
I had 3 big suitcases and 1 carry-on suitcase and a book bag. And they wouldn't let Tomas come back to help me get my luggage because of COVID. And I'm 5'2", I'm very short. And I'm like back there by myself, stacking up my suitcases on top of each other on the trolley. I'm pushing that, carrying the carry-on bag behind me, and the double doors weren't automatic. I had to push it open. So I wanted to record it because I was like, oh, I have to record like our last first time meeting. That'd be so cute.
Yeah.
And he just sees me like struggling, and I'm like peeking over and say, hi, I'm here.
Were you like, I want to be sweet, but like,
yeah,
bad.
Exactly. And I made him buy sanitizer spray to spray all my suitcases down of COVID germs.
So for people who are gonna do their CTD, just kind of expect that it's not gonna be as graceful as what you would want it to be.
Plan 2 separate things. Get the suitcases out first, then come back
and
around
then,
and do the.
Do the sweet stuff.
Movie magic.
Oh my goodness. So now that we are actually in this point that you guys are together, can you give the people some guidelines or tips or even let them know about this CTD product that you had just come out with so that they know what to do, so that they have something that they can use? Because it's so hard to find something out there online to help the LDR community. Basically, it's just really, really hard. You have to do your own research.
Yeah.
No one's there to walk you through about the tiny minute details, and I know that you are doing your best you can to help people with Jazz Up Your Wonderlust. For those who don't know what that is, check it out. I'm gonna leave Jasmine, all of Jasmine's social in the description. So yeah, please tell them about your CTD product.
So I made this closing the distance binder set, and in it has like the packing tips I used, because I researched so many packing tips to get all my stuff in the suitcases. It comes with a packing guide and a packing checklist, and then it's fillable on the computer, or you can print it out and fill it in. And there's different versions for you to choose from, like printer friendly ones too. And really, it's just help you stay organized with all your packing, because I literally packed and unpacked 3 times, wondering if I had everything. And then because I packed and unpacked 3 times, I couldn't remember what stuff was in what packing cube or the suitcases and stuff. But like unpacking was super easy because I was organized, but then I just put in extra tips and stuff that hindsight I wish I did. So that way you don't have to worry about packing and unpacking 5,000 times. You're good first time.
You're good to go.
Good to go.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, it also made closing the distance easier because you had done so much research. I felt like it from my end. It relieved a lot of pressure, and it just felt very smooth. And yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, I from the receiving end, I also recommend the binder set because there's all that research.
Well, that's just one part of the binder set. There's 2 other parts. Like there's a self-care guide to help you during this time, because during closing the distance, we hardly talked to each other because we were so busy preparing. So it comes with a relationship tracker too, so that way you can have relationship check-ins with your partner and really kind of work through your emotions and feelings during this process, and as well as your own feelings and things that you can do to help give yourself some more love during the time. And lastly, it includes all the stuff that I brought in my binder. So I legit brought a binder with me. I'm gonna go grab it.
Yeah, grab it. But can you see it? We'd love to see it.
So my binder is actually what inspired the binder set, because in it I have the copies of, I have Migri's law. It's the law saying that I'm allowed to come to Finland, highlighted because I needed that in Amsterdam because dude was not about to let me in. Just passport pictures, important documents that I need for life here, and all that. I carried all that in the plane with me, so that way at any point I could refer to these things. I could prove that our relationship was real. I could prove that we are going to start a life together. And it also ended up helping me out, because I had all this stuff planned. It helped me out for when I filled in my stuff for immigration too. I wanted to include all those things because as of it is right now, we don't know what travel is going to look like. We don't know how visas and immigrations are going to do moving forward from 2020. That's just the reality of it. So, and even before, you still had to prepare all this stuff for yourself. So I wanted to combine both of those elements of the past and what we can do with these uncertainties now to help couples move forward and actually close the distance and be together.
Right. And have someone to mentor them or have someone give advices. Being that you're this almost master in the closing the distance, I know that you have your own blog and website and other socials. Would you please tell the people out there who are needing help, who are needing advice, and someone to help them through their closing the distance? Please share them your social media and where they could follow you so that they know where to go and how to get your binder set and everything that you have prepared for them.
Sure. So the binder set is on jazzupyourwonderlust.com, and on my website I have tips for date nights, like while you're currently in a long distance relationship, tips if you're starting it, and tips for meetups, closing the distance. And on my shop page, you can see the Closing the Distance binder set. And there's also a love language course if you and your partner are starting a long distance relationship. So that way you can learn the love languages and build emotional intelligence together. I have an Instagram, Jazz Up Your Wanderlust. And on there, I've started a new series of LDR Pillow Talk, and it's for conversation starters or like little mini dates for you and your partner, just to, again, work on building that emotional intelligence and that layer of intimacy with each other. And then I have TikTok.
I was waiting for you to say that.
That's the fun side of everything. Like, I post some of my tips from the Instagram to TikTok, and then talk about being an expat in Finland.
Would it be also Jazz Up Your Wanderlust on TikTok?
Yeah, Jazz Up Your Wanderlust for everything. Even my sad YouTube channel has Jazz Up Your Wanderlust.
Please check out Jasmine's channel. Oh my gosh, please watch over there. I'm going to leave all of that down here in the description so you guys can subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Click everything they can click.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, all right, guys. Before we wrap up, would you please give us some words of encouragement for the people who are wanting to close the distance, and something that you want to say, maybe coming from both of you, like someone from the receiving end and someone from the leaving end, I guess. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go first.
You go first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So on the leaving end, really give yourself time to have your own thoughts and process everything, and know that it's okay to say no to people. There's going to be so many people that want to come see you at the last minute while you're busy packing, making your plans and everything. It is okay to say no to them. It is okay to reschedule a time that they're requesting. And you do this to protect yourself, because there's so many energies going on when you're closing the distance. Again, your own energy is going to be chaotic from excitement, nervousness, wondering, oh my God, am I really doing this? You know, you're going to feel all those things. So really give yourself that time to have your own thoughts, process your emotions. And if people are being too much, be comfortable with saying no to them.
I think my tip is going to be that, like, even though it will feel very like a big change to close a distance, at least in my experience, the whole process will happen very smoothly and on its own way. So it's not like...
Trust in the process.
Yeah, trust in the process.
Trust in the process, yes. That's a very good way to put it. All right, guys. So we have come to the end of our video, and we in the Kristen Cares community would like to thank you guys for being here and showing up as our guests, because we learned so much from all the things that you guys talked about in closing the distance, and even those little things that we need to kind of tune into without consciously knowing it from the start, because those things, we don't know that unless you've experienced it, which you guys have. And we want to thank you for that. So before we end, we would like to say thank you. And we hope to see you again, if ever, on the show, in case we have more stuff to talk about and discuss about long distance relationships. And as always, I will see you later. I hope that you were able to learn a lot of different things that goes on in closing the distance, and hopefully this opened up your eyes on some of the real and deep stuff that happens and goes down behind the scenes. So if you found value in this show, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for more long distance relationship interviews. On our next show, we are gonna call a couple who were in a long distance relationship and now they're married and they have a baby. She's pregnant. So if that's something that you want to see, stick around and I will see you over on that next episode. Hi, my name is Kristen. On today's show, they are going to help us through the journey. Walk us through. On our next episode, we are going to call a couple who are.
Hello? Hello? Do you remember?
You guys are gonna go hello?
See, I told you I would mess up with this part. I just like...
Okay. It's okay. We can cut it.